Everyone wants to retire a millionaire. I don't think anyone's going to deny that fact. Some people may say they don't want to retire a millionaire, they just want to retire comfortably, and I get that, but overall, I don't think anyone's going to turn down retiring with $1 million in the bank. The truth of the matter is, a lot of people don't want to work for it. Most people don't want to work for it, and you don't even have to work that hard to get it. You just have to save money to get it. In this video, we're going to be talking about that. We're going to talk about how you can retire a millionaire no matter what. Going over every single part of retiring a millionaire and everything you need to know in order to retire a millionaire is going to be covered in this video. Luckily, it isn't hard to figure out how much money you're going to need to save in order to retire a millionaire. We're going to be giving you some specifics in this video. So yeah, that'll be really cool. We're going to be going over all of that. But my name is Nick. Welcome back to Achievable Finance. So first and foremost, I do want to discuss the fact that income is the outcome. And you might not necessarily need $1 million to live happily in retirement. A lot of people think they need this big sum of $1 million when they retire. You don't. Most of the time, depending on what your living expenses are, you can retire with well less and live an incredible life if you know your numbers. And that's kind of what this is going to come down to. Well, sure, we're going to give you the numbers to retire a millionaire. You don't have to. What's most important is knowing your numbers in general. So the reason income is the outcome is because if you spend $250,000 a year, $1 million is only going to last you 4 years. However, if you spend $50,000 a year and you make $60,000 a year off your investments, that's good because you're never going to run out of money. So in this case, $1 million is cool, but $60,000 a year is much, much cooler because that's going to allow you to live with peace of mind. And hey, with that extra $10,000, why not go to Bali? And while you're in Bali, you can sit back and earn money from your dividend income. So there's a few ways to earn income in retirement. Again, we're talking about retiring the $1 million, but income is the outcome, right? You want to focus on making money from your investments because when you retire, you don't want the $1 million. Truthfully, as much as you want the consistency, you want the safety, the stability that $1 million is going to give you. What if you could do it on $500,000 instead of $1 million? I think you would if you could, because you can use that extra $500,000 and do something else with it if you want. So nevertheless, income is the outcome, and dividend income is going to be a great way to produce income in retirement. Now, there are tons of other YouTubers out there who are going to cover dividend income much better than I'm going to in this video. Additionally, there is tons of other options of investing other than dividend income, and we're going to be talking about another one here. Basically, there's two main types: dividend income and capital gain income. We're going to talk about both of those. In retirement, though, it's probably safer to switch a little bit of your portfolio into dividend income to guarantee, for the most part, assuming the companies and the economy and everything is doing okay, that you're going to get that income every single month coming into your account. It's not every single month. In some cases, it's every quarter, but you get what I'm saying here. You're going to have consistent income from those dividends. What is a dividend, though? In short, a dividend is an amount of money paid out as a percentage of the stock's price, right, that company's stock's price, to investors from its profits. Basically, a company makes so much money that it just wants to reward you for owning its shares by paying you some of that profit that it makes. Depending on the company, this could be like with a REIT or something like that, which is a real estate investment trust. We're not getting into all that, but some companies can pay up to like 80% or even 90% of their profits to their investors via dividends. Some companies pay a lot less, sometimes even 10, 20, 30% of their profits back to their investors as dividends. Not every company has a dividend. Some companies do, some companies don't. And again, this isn't a video specifically on how to find dividend companies, how to find good dividend companies. They're a better place to look for that on YouTube. I would look for companies that are low risk, that have been around for a long time, and have a long dividend history. Over 10 years, over 20 years, if you can do it, and over 20 years with their business not declining in currently, right? So an example of that might be something like Johnson & Johnson, might be a McDonald's, something like that, where their business isn't dropping currently, other than, 2020 is a bit different with the coronavirus and everything like that, but so historically they've been on the up and up, they've been doing well, and they have been for a long time, and that dividend has been there for a long time as well. It's supposed to be low risk, that's the goal. You're not going to get what they call capital gain from this, which is where your stock goes from $100 to $150, and then you sell it and make that $50. You're not going to get as much of that here. You're looking at that income, that $3 every quarter or whatever that company is paying you via that dividend. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but it adds up over time, and if you own thousands upon thousands of shares, it can really add up. Now, going back to that whole income is the outcome thing, a dividend yield of 4% isn't anything too crazy. Now, dividend yield is how much your portfolio is making you back on its amount for a dividend. For example, a $1 million portfolio with a 4% dividend yield would earn each year $40,000 to you in dividends, right? Pretty cool stuff, and that's where, income is the outcome. $1 million would get you on a 4% dividend yield a $40,000 yearly income. Now, what's interesting about that is your dividend yield is locked in when you purchase the stock. That's why if you start buying these dividend companies now when you're younger, even if you're in your 40s, by the time you retire in your 60s, you'll have built up a better dividend yield because you've been buying as stocks go up over time. Now, stocks always don't go up, but typically, long-lasting dividend companies do gradually go up, not as much as the market, but do gradually go up over time, and that's going to increase your dividend yield. Something else cool about this is you do get those capital gains appreciations, right, which is where the stock goes up. We're about to talk about that, in addition to the dividend, right? It's not that when you buy a dividend stock, it has no chance of going up as far as the stock price goes. It does, but it's not guaranteed to do that. And that's where you have to focus on that. So that $40,000 for $1 million might not seem like a lot, but you also have to think about the capital appreciation you've got and the fact that you can slowly sell down your stock in retirement, and you're going to be able to sell $20,000 of stock a year rather than $60 if you need $60,000 a year to live because you've got that $40,000 coming in via the dividend. Now, the other way of gaining income in retirement is that capital gains income. That's where the stock was bought at $100, went up to $150, and you're cashing out, getting that $50. This is a very, very good way, and how most people plan to make money in retirement is through their 401ks, buying that stock over time, and then selling it when they get to retirement age and taking out those capital gains they've gotten. Truthfully, there isn't anything wrong with this method as long as you make sure you plan and are going to have enough in retirement. Can you retire at 60 or 65 and live to your 85 or 90? That's not too uncommon these days, living into your 90s. And if you don't have enough income to be able to support that 20 or 30 years after you retire, that's going to be a problem. So you got to think about that now when you're young and how much you need to be saving in order to do that. And that's where when you're older, switching into a dividend more portfolio and generating the income then can help. Now, you're not going to be able to get that capital appreciation and get that dividend yield going up over time like that, but you're still going to be able to get those capital gains while then being able to get the dividend income later in life. That's actually what I personally plan to do with my portfolio. Build up some capital appreciation over time. And you know, I do believe low and slow, right? So basically just invest for a long period of time and you'll get the 10% average or 7% average that the market averages. That's what my plan is. But then when I'm older in my 60s, probably late 50s, early 60s, move some of my portfolio into a dividend income generating portfolio. That way I can get those dividends and generate the income then. I understand I'm sacrificing yield, but I believe that we'll get better capital gains doing that. So those are two ways that you can generate income in retirement. Cashing in on capital gains and getting your dividend income if you have dividend yielding stocks. There's another way though, and that's Social Security. Now I know Social Security is in jeopardy, be it in 2020 with the payroll tax cuts that have been announced, but the truth of the matter is, this is still something that you want to be aware of. I would say do not count on it. They've been saying that for years. My grandfather told me when he was in his 20s, he's now in his 70s, that they were saying Social Security wouldn't be around 10 years from now, and it's still around today. But we don't know that. We don't know that this time isn't going to be different. We don't know that it's going to be here 40 years, 30 years, 20 years, even 10 years from now. That's why it's important to prepare. It's important to say, if I'm not getting that Social Security income, what am I going to do? And that's where the dividend income and the capital gains income and building your investments up over your life are going to come from. Most of the time though, you're going to need additional income. Even my grandfather that I just spoke of has investments that he cashes out every single month because his Social Security isn't going to make up for that difference. They still need a little bit more money to be able to live every single month. It's just how it is. Social Security just isn't enough in the modern age to be able to support everyone that is on it fully. And in truth, that's only going to go down over time. Unless they do serious increases to Social Security income based on inflation and things like that, it's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse. Even if Social Security is around in 40 years when all of us are like, I'm looking to retire, it's probably going to be a lot less compared to the cost of living than it is today. It's already hard to keep 100%, stable on Social Security, so you need to make sure you've got the backup plan, and that's why capital gains and dividend income and building those over your life are so important. So now it's time to talk about how to actually retire with $1 million, right? You've kind of gotten the numbers, you've seen how much money you would need to generate your income when you're in retirement. And remember, when you're in retirement, you're gonna have less expenses. Hopefully your house is paid off. Hopefully, you can buy your cars in cash by that point. You don't have debt servicing. Things like that are kind of taken care of by the time of your retirement. If you're watching this video, you're probably gonna be pretty financially savvy if you can implement some of the stuff we teach in the channel, and that'll be taken care of, right? You'll be out of debt in your 20s, so you really won't have to worry about it when you're 60. So with that, you wanna go ahead and make sure that you incorporating that whenever you're figuring out how much you need when you retire. But how do you actually retire with $1 million? Well, I'm gonna give you a few different rundowns. Now, some of these are going to look a little bleak, right? Like if you're 20 years from retirement, the amount you're going to have to save each month is a decent amount to be able to get, enough money into your, retirement accounts to retire with $1 million. However, if you've got 40 years left, it's going to be kind of amazing how little you need to save each month in order to get, your retirement set up with $1 million when you retire. Now, in truth, you're going to do your own math here, right? I'm just going to give you some examples. I'm going to give you the 20 years to retirement and the 40 years to retirement, just show you the vast difference. In the description down below, there is an article that has more, like I think we have 30 years in there. We have a few different amounts of time in there. I'm going to show you the difference and why if you're watching this in your 20s, which is our target audience, you need to go ahead and start saving now. Because if you wait 20 years, it's going to be a lot harder than if you start saving now. So anyway, let's go ahead and run these numbers real quick. I'm going to tell you what I'm assuming. I'm assuming a 6.5 annual average return. That's less than the S&P 500, which has been over 7%. On top of that, I'm also assuming you're not going to increase your income in your life. You should. Like everyone just should increase their income in their life. You should be earning more when you're in your 30s than when you were in your 20s. And so forth into your 40s, even into your 50s. You might see an income stabilization from 40 to 50. That's on average that happens. But nevertheless, from 20 to 30 and 30 to 40, your income should be rising over that period. We're going to assume that doesn't happen and you just continue to invest the same amount even though your income has went up. You shouldn't do that. You should increase your investments as your income rises. But nevertheless, with 20 years to retirement, if you are just earning $30,000 a year, you are going to have to save 86% of your income or $2,150 of the $2,500 you earn. Now, that's kind of bleak, right? I get that, but that's just why I'm showing you this to show you why it's so important to start early. Now, most likely, when you're 20 years to retirement, you're in your 40s, so your income is going to be higher than that. So let's look at a $75,000 yearly income. If you're earning $75,000 a year, this may have to save is still $2,150 a month. That's 34.4% of your income. That's a little more doable. It's gonna require you to live a lot below your means for a long time, but it's still doable, and you're still gonna have a decent amount of income left, over $3,000 left every single month to be able to use on your other living expenses. So $75,000 in income, 34% of your income would have to be used towards your retirement, but when you retire, you're gonna have that sweet $1 million in the bank. But let's show you what's really interesting. Let's skip to if you start when you're 20 and you retire when you're 60, or start when you're 25 and retire when you're 65, how much do you have to start saving if you have a 40-year time horizon? Well, let's assume your average income per year over those 40 years is just $30,000. Even still, you only have to save 19% of your income or $475 a month. Yes, just 19% of your income. We encourage saving 10% of your income and then increasing that over time, getting it maybe up to 20%. So if you just do that, you're gonna be in line to be a millionaire when you retire on a 40-year time horizon, assuming a 6.5% compounding interest rate. Not too bad. On top of that, what if you earning over the course of your life $75,000 a year? Now this means you're gonna have to earn a lot more in your later years, probably well into the six figures, to be able to average out that $75,000 a year income from the time you're 25 until the time you're 65. But still, what if you do that? Well, in that case, on average, you would be saving just 7.6% of your income in order to retire a millionaire. Now, in truth, we have $50,000 on the website and things like that of a lifetime average income. That's probably a little more realistic. For a household between, two spouses, that's going to be very, very possible and very, very doable. And all you would have to save is $475 a month from the time you're in your 20s to the time you retire. That's kind of how you can retire a millionaire, right? The truth is, though, the key to retiring a millionaire is start early, save often, and save as much as you can. Save well over 10% of your income, but at least save 10%. And the sooner you start, the better. You should have started yesterday, sort of a thing with this. And so if you haven't already, go down to the description down below. You can find a link to M1 Finance. That's who we use. We believe, like I said, keeping it slow, S&P 500 index funds, VTI, which is just a general market index funds. Throw some bonds in there, maybe a little bit of gold, for example. I will link our portfolio that we use in the description down below. But overall, keep it low, keep it slow, and just invest over time every single month in low-cost index funds. And we use M1 Finance to do that here. You can use whoever you want. We really don't care, but if you do use that link in the description, it does help us out here. But nevertheless, that's how you can retire a millionaire. You save those amounts. For 40 years, you save $475 a month, every single month. Or for 20 years, you save $2,150 a month. That's why it's so important to start now, right? Start now. That's basically what this video should be called. How to retire a millionaire? Start investing now. But that's that, and thank you so much for watching this video. That's how you can retire a millionaire. Start saving now. There are the numbers. It's pretty simple. And all the math and everything is outlined on our website in the description down below. But thank you all so much for watching. Give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more awesome finance videos 3 times a week. There's 3 videos a week here. They are amazing. And awesome articles go up every single week on our website. So check that out in the description as well. But I'm Nick, and I'm out. See you in the next video. Do re mi fa sol la ti do.